Kevin Hart did the movies he passed on. Kevin Hart responded, "Got to get that anger out you, champ. It's honestly sad. In the meantime, please enjoy my movie trailer, my next film, Lift, which will be dropping on Netflix in 8 days. There is a moment in the trailer in which Goo Gum, whatever who that is, y'all, we're gonna have it up on the thing. They really love you. I know she's talking about Katt. Mark your calendar, world. This is a special one. Yeah. We're gonna show. We can pull it up right now. We're about to show you what Katt had to say. Excuse me, what Kevin had to say. Excuse me.
There being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It did happen. It did.
That was Katt explaining Kevin Hart and how someone on the East Coast, primarily on the East Coast, able to come to the West Coast and his career takes off basically like it did. Go ahead, Ocho.
I have a question. Obviously, I'm not in the comedy space. I don't really understand. But when the opportunity presented itself for Kevin Hart, is it not about timing? Is it not about timing and you taking off at the right time, or you just peaking at the right time? And coming to LA, what do most people do that want to be actors, that want to be producers, that want to be singers, writers, or whatever it may be? They normally get to the West Coast to reach that pinnacle of whatever that dream is they're trying to do. You think maybe that might have been the case, or the fact that you had to leave the East Coast in Philadelphia and get to LA to reach the stratosphere where you want to head to? I'm just asking. I don't know, because that's really not my field.
Ocho, they sold out your cigars.
What?
Yeah, they sold them out.
Hey, I appreciate y'all.
They crashed the site. They started ordering something. They crashed the site. Yeah.
I appreciate y'all.
But they say Doug is working on it.
Yeah.
It's not used to handling that kind of traffic.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I thank you, because I'm behind on child support. Now I'm gonna be able to catch up because of you.
And we go catch you up. I think the thing is what Katt is saying.
Yes, sir.
That the opportunity that he passed on was because he wasn't willing to compromise his integrity.
Ah, okay. That's a better understanding.
And Kevin says, I didn't compromise anything.
Right.
Here's a sound about Steve Harvey. He had some things to say about Steve Harvey. We got that sound right. We're about to play the sound that he said about Steve Harvey.
Okay.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range.
That's what he said about Steve Harvey. I'll let people out there. I'm old enough to remember hanging with Mr. Cooper. If I'm not mistaken, Holly Robinson Pete was on that show.
Yeah, I remember.
And then Steve Harvey had a show with he and Cedric the Entertainer. And so you can deduce whatever you is. I mean, did he steal it? I don't know. But you take whatever you want to take. That's what I do. I present the case. I said, hell, okay, this is it. Because at the end of the day, if let's just say Steve is the prosecutor, Katt's the defender. Neither one of them get to decide. That's for the jury.
Right.
Okay, the listening audience is the jury.
Right. I have a question though.
Sure.
When it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to, let's say, the NFL, for example, you see one play run a team that works. What does the following team do after watching film? What do they do?
Yes.
They steal the plays.
Right.
When it comes to the corporate world, or when it comes to, let's say, apparel or shoes, company has a shoe, they design it a certain way. What do other companies do?
Well,
They tweak it a little bit. They tweak it a little bit.
You better
and
tweak it a
design
lot
the
of bit.
exact same shoe.
Because Nike and Adidas, they got patents.
The silhouette is the same, but the brand is a check and want to have 3 stripes, but it looks exactly the same. I thought imitation is a form of flattery. If someone is willing to take something that you've done and twist the art of it a little bit, is that a bad thing? Again, I'm not in that field. I don't know, so I'm asking the questions.
It's like a musician. Let me ask you a question. You're a musician.
Right.
And somebody takes your song and remakes it.
And does a rendition of it.
You okay with that? If they're not compensating you, you okay with that's imitation is the highest form of flattery?
I see where you're going with that. I see. Listen, I see where you're going. I see where you're going with that. But again, I think something like that, or something of that magnitude, it happens all the time in that field. I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
But it happens in so many different other fields as well. So what do you do in a situation like that when someone steals your material? What do you do? I'm just curious.
I think the thing is what Katt's called them out.
Okay.
I think that's the way, that's the approach that he took.
Right.
It's kind of like you and I do this. Now we know eventually somebody else is going to come in this space and do the nighttime space.
Right.
Or they're going to say, "Oh, we saw Nightcap with Unc and Ocho,"
right?
And so, or you just go pretend like we didn't exist. It just going about your business. Oh yeah, this is such and such, and we go blah blah blah. Oh, so you're not gonna give Ocho and I no credit?
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is what we have to understand. The dynamic and the chemistry that we have, and who we are individually as people. It doesn't matter who comes and tries to do anything predicated to doing at night. There's only one Unc Ocho. There's only one Nightcap. I mean, you can duplicate it, you can replicate it, but there's only one us. So it would never be the same. It would never be the same. And there's no disrespect to anyone that wants to do anything of that magnitude. But I'm just saying you're not going to be able to do, like, listen, it's only one Shannon Sharpe that played for the Denver Broncos and Baltimore Ravens. There will never be another 85 that played for Cincinnati, no matter who wears 85. That's no disrespect. I'm just saying, think about this. Think about Martin. Think about the cast of Martin, right?
Yeah.
Think about the cast. Pam, Gina, Cole, Martin, obviously, and then Tommy.
Yeah. And then they had Hustle Man and Nipsey.
Think about the main characters. Tell me somebody else that you could interchange and that cast will still be the same.
No, you couldn't.
It wouldn't be the same. No. It wouldn't be the same no matter what you do. Some things are just meant to be.
Yeah. But
people can try to duplicate or have a rendition of it, but it just won't be the same.
But here's the thing. Chick-fil-A is mainly known for the grilled chicken sandwich.
Man, that's the devil's food, but go ahead.
What did Popeyes do? Popeyes say, we don't want to be number one. We just want to eat into your market share.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even if they don't replicate that, let's just say they knock off 5,000-10,000 viewers. That's what they're trying to do.
Okay, I see.
You're not trying. When you get into a market, when you're starting up, it's like Tesla. Tesla had a big head start on the electric car market.
Yeah.
BMW in the EV market, Mercedes in the EV market, Rolls Royce is in the EV market. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
The likelihood, because they got Tesla has such a large lead, the likelihood of them overtaking them is not good.
No.
But just let me get 10%. 10% of something is better than nothing. And this is what I tell people. Sometimes people would rather be the king of nothing as opposed to be a queen or a peasant with something.
Right.
You see what I did with that, Ocho?
Yeah.
You would rather be the king of nothing.
Right.
As opposed to be the queen or a peasant with something.
Right.
So they're saying, even if we don't knock you off that perch, all we're trying to dig in is to dig into your market share. If you got a 90% of that, so let me take out 5 or 10. 5 or 10 of nothing what I had in the market, I'm winning. You see what they do? So even if no, they can't replicate that because you're not going to have somebody with the personality of you and I. You're not going to have somebody that's as credentialed in the football space like you and I. And you damn sure not going to be able to have anybody that can tell stories like you and I.
And ain't nobody finna be able to say, stay with me now, like me.
Stay with you. Okay. Here's another thing with Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric the Entertainer, this is what he said on Twitter. Oh, here's a Katt talking about Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
You don't think Ced's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
Good money, baby.
That's what Katt Williams had to say about Cedric the Entertainer. Hey, now I know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ocho. Yes.
This seems a little bit more personal than it is with just getting your piece off and telling your truths. Like I would think, especially comedians, especially us, wouldn't we all want to kind of keep that nucleus somewhat tight and not? No.
He asked me. He said, "How close are you friends to your opponents?" Because he's looking at it like this. If I allow comedians or other comedians to steal my jokes, then what am I? You stealing my material. You're plagiarizing.
Right.
That's why you see when they sued Blurred Lines. What's the guy named? Robin Thicke?
Marvin Gaye's estate.
You see what he
estate? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
And we see this quite often. So it's like, and he's like, do you understand how long you have to tell a joke,
right?
To refine it, to sharpen it before you're able to take it to a special? He said, you just don't tell a joke. He said, anytime somebody's tell a joke, more times than not, they've told that joke so many times to refine it, to sharpen it before they take it. It's just like you. The likelihood, what's the likelihood you go out there and you in a game, a play that you hadn't practiced?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and the plays that the coaches feel the most satisfied about during the course of the week, those are the plays that normally go in the game plan and what you see on Sunday.
Right.
So
I you know that really fuck when it come to us, man. When it come to us, listen to me. It's only so many comedians.
Yes.
It's only so many of us. It's only so many of us that have cracked into that upper echelon of stand-up shows, Netflix specials, HBO specials, and acting on the big screen.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, my thinking is we need to keep us all tight and feed off of each other,
right,
and help each other out to make sure we all are able to reach that plateau and that pinnacle of whatever comedy is to bring to you. But to have us going back and forth like this, I think it does us a disservice in that community, in that space. I'm talking about the comedic space.
Yeah, it's been a very few select. I mean, I go back. Bill Cosby was an I Spy. He was the first one, like the first black to be a comedian, and then go. And then you had Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Then you had Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm talking about comedians. You started stand up. I mean, Eddie went from doing stand up, doing Saturday Night Live, straight to the big screen.
Right.
And when he took off, gone. Richard Pryor stand up, big screen.
Gone, yeah.
Actually, Bill was doing stand up. He went to TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And took off.
And you know what? Think about
you
this.
got Kevin Hart, you got Ced, because Ced has done a lot of movies. Johnson Family Vacation, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Ced has been in some movies.
Yeah. And this is the funny thing. One of the things that Katt did say is he said the word range when it comes to acting. But the people that you named, Eddie had range, Richard Pryor had range. They can, and being a comedian, you already have to be able to get in the character anyway.
Yes.
So range really shouldn't be an issue in that area because the people that he's naming have just that.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I go back, like I said, Richard and Stir Crazy with him and Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
And Eddie and all those Eddie movies. Eddie, I mean, Eddie is the standard as far as comedians doing movies. Eddie is the standard. Yeah. Eddie is the standard. And I love Richard, and Richard got it started. And I love Bill Cosby. What he did. Look. So I don't want y'all. Shannon say he loved Bill Cosby. I'm talking about Bill Cosby with Fat Albert. I don't know if you remember Fat Albert growing up on Sunday.
Of course, I remember Fat Albert. What you talking? Of course, I had the sweater.
I Spy was in the '60s. Bill Cosby was the first black major role. Bill Cosby had that. He was the most famous dad. The Cosby Show.
Yeah,
he owned the Cosby Show and leased it to NBC.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's still airing today, doing very well.
Yeah.